Hello everybody. We are going to move right along into chapter 13.2, which is perimeters of composite figures. And I have here for you two examples of composite figures. It's when two or more shapes are put together, and they call those composite figures. So for example, this one would be a square and a triangle. They make one total shape, but there's actually two shapes involved. And then the same with this one, we have a rectangle and a semicircle. So those two are examples of what a composite figure is. And as the title states, we're going to be learning how to take the perimeters of composite figures. And if you recall, perimeter is just the outside measurements. We're not talking about area or volume. Area is if we were trying to go the inside of all these figures. Perimeter, we're just needing to add up the outside dimensions. So this should be a little familiar. The only difference this year is we're adding in the circles, the semicircles or the actual circles. And that's what we did on yesterday's lesson, was learn how to find the circumference of a circle or the perimeter of a semicircle. You're just finding this outside dimension. Okay, so example 1, finding a perimeter. Here we have a triangle and a semicircle. So we are just needing to find, let me go to a highlighter here. We're just looking to find this outer dimension. So we need to know what these measurements are. Now this 10 feet right here, the 10 feet is the dimension for the hypotenuse of this right triangle, and it is also the diameter of this semicircle. So hopefully you can see that. Let me put a different color here. It's the diameter if you're just looking at the semicircle. So the first part is pretty simple. You would just need to add the outer dimensions of the triangle. So 8 plus 6, and that equals 14. And it's feet, since we're keeping with our units. So we have this part done and this part done. Now we need to find what this perimeter is to add it. And to do that, we find the perimeter of the semicircle, which is what we learned in yesterday's lesson. If you remember, the circumference of a circle is pi times diameter, and I'm using the diameter 1 because that is the measurement that we are given, and then divided by 2. Because it's half of the circle. So we have 3.14 times 10 divided by 2, and I come up with 15.7. Okay, so now I have to take that and add this to the 14, and I get a total of 29.7 feet. So that is the perimeter of this composite figure. Okay, I have one more example. Oop, I went ahead. Sorry guys. One more example, and then I will let you get to your work. Find the perimeter. So here we have a square and two semicircles. So if you think about it, even though you have a semicircle on each side of the square, really you just need to find the circumference of one circle, because the two semicircles will make one circle. So you need to find the circumference of the circle, and then you have the square that's involved. So we're looking at finding the measurements of this outside area. Okay? Now, to find the circumference of a circle, we need to know either the radius or the diameter, but we're only given one dimension. And we're just given this part right here saying this is 8 inches. However, we know that this shape is a square. So if the top part is 8 inches, that means this part is 8, this part is 8, and this part is 8, because a square has all the same size sides. So now let's go ahead and find the circumference of my circle. So I'm given the diameter again. So I'm going to do pi times diameter. So C equals 3.14 times 8. And that equals 25.12 inches. Okay, so now that 25.12 inches does this part and this part. So now all I'm left with is this part and this part. So I need to add 8 and 8. So I can just do plus 16. And my answer is 41.12 inches. And that's it for today. Have a great day.